So, as a child, due to my circumstances, I spent a lot of time being depressed, and that carried on into my adulthood. And what I learned about childhood depression is a lot of it is brought on due to the lack of control over your circumstances, right? You have parents that are ill equipped to feed into you, to nurture you, and you desperately want that. Um, But as a child, you don't have any control. You can't leave. You can't even explain what you're feeling. And so, what you do is you learn to retreat into yourself, into this negative space, in order to cope with your circumstances. And then you carry those coping skills into adulthood. And so, what I've kind of learned from myself is that we exist in two states. We exist in the physical. That's what I mean by mind over matter, which is where you operate from your brain space. And then we exist in the spiritual, which is your mind state, or what a lot of people describe as being mindful. And when those two things are not balanced, that's where you oftentimes, to me, suffer from depression. So when you look at those two separate existences, your brain operates in your physical, right? It helps you to breathe. It helps your body to work. It's responsible for the hormones and things that you exhibit. But your brain is also designed to protect you. So when you're in some form of danger, right, your brain sends out signals or adrenaline to let you know that you need to go into a protective state. Your mind, on the other hand, is designed to help you connect to God, but also to control your emotions and how you feel. And when you operate more out of your brain space, you stay in a cycle of depression because your brain is telling you to retreat and to hang on to things that make you safe that's not always in your best interest. Whereas elevating your mindset or your mind state helps you to elevate your mood and overcome what's going on in your brain space. So, in essence, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to operate out of your mind state, which you have more control over, which designates or helps your mental state override what your brain is factually telling you. It overrides that brain mechanisms that tells you to do certain things to keep yourself safe or to retreat or to hang on to feelings that you're more familiar with because those feelings are safe and comfortable because that's what you're used to. And that's why when you start as a child with this depression and no one ever tells you how to come out of it and how to cope with it, you hold on to poor coping mechanisms when things don't go your way or when things happen or when you're just overwhelmed with emotions. You automatically, from your brain space, will go to a mechanism that you feel most comfortable with or what you only have available in your knowledge to deal with a lot of the things that go on in your life. So it's weird because when you want to be depressed or when you want to self-sabotage or when you want to do some things, you really have to fight and grow that mental space to overcome it because physically you are going to be more comfortable with dealing with the depression. And that's what I mean. And it takes a lot of practice to connect with your mental space because it's abstract. It's not like you can see it like a brain, you can see it. And so a lot of times when you're feeling a certain way, and this is what I really learned to overcome in my years of being alone, is you really have to work and practice to overcome what you're physically feeling, to do the things that you need to do to bring yourself out of these emotional brain states. And, a lot of times I would be depressed and it was amazing how difficult it was to overcome the need to do the things that I usually would do as a child when I was depressed, which is sleep all the time or just negative talk to myself. I really had to grow that mental muscle to overcome the thoughts that my brain was telling me. And so I had to work on it a little bit at a time. Like when I would start to feel depressed, well, first of all, I would work on it when I was in a positive mental state. So it's almost like being prepared in advance for the event that I do experience something that causes me to feel depressed. And usually that's the best time to work on those skills. Like when you're feeling your best, practice meditation or practice walking or getting into nature and establishing those habits when you're in the best frame of mind. So when you have those episodes and you feel overwhelmed and feel like you can't make the proper choice, you have habits in place that keep you in a place where you need to be. So once I established those habits, it was easier for me when I got into negative mental states to do the things that I needed to do to make myself feel better. And a lot of times you're depressed about maybe the things that happened to you as a child, which you have no control over, or circumstances that you're in. And mindfulness connects you to God. And with connecting to God, you learn peace. You learn unconditional love for yourself. You learn all of the things that support a positive mental state. And it's almost like connecting and balancing what you feel in the physical with how you act in a mindful or in a spiritual state. And that's food for thought. I love you all, and I hope you're having a beautiful day in and on purpose.